It took a white man to tell me. He says, how is it when a black man kill a black man, it's not really outrage?
Yeah.
But when a white man kills a black man, it's gonna start a riot.
The American media has manipulated the narrative of crime. Black on black crime is a made up thing. You have never heard white on white crime, never heard the Asian on Asian crime. They have tried to fraction and compartmentalize us to feel as if where the crime is where we are.
Go ahead.
The lead murderers in America are white men. The lead robbers in America are white men. The largest amount of rapists are white men. The highest number of domestic abusers is white men. The highest number of arrested pedophiles is white men. The greatest number of drug dealers arrested is white men. But if you ask the average American who are the proponents of crime, is a black face to it. They're now trying to create this narrative that the immigrants are bringing into crime because they never want to own up to what it is that they have done. Part of our responsibility is to pull the sheets off. We had a shooting here in Georgia not long ago. A young man named Colt, 14 years old, went and shot up his high school. His father's now being charged. Can you imagine what conversation me and you would be having if Colt was black and Colt's black father gave him a gun? The television, the internet would explode on the irresponsibility of black fathers, on why it is that young black men have guns and are carrying guns. It has always shifted to make black men feel hyper-aggressive, hypersexual, and hyper-criminalized. It's part of a larger, historic, original sin of America that always criminalizes and points their fingers at black men when it is absolutely not true. The overwhelming majority, Cam, of black men who are under penal supervision are under penal supervision for nonviolent offenses. They're on ankle bracelets, home monitors, on parole, on probation, for possession, not for distribution. It may not sound like it's significant, but it's very meaningful. And so that's why it is that we've got to ask the hard and the difficult questions. Where is criminal justice in America? And is justice just?
Hello everyone, welcome back again to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like and join the conversation in the comment below. Today we are talking about an issue that continues to divide opinion, and I believe it is a conversation worth having. I came across a video that immediately caught my attention. As I watched it, I realized it was not just about one incident. It reflects a much bigger discussion about how crime and race and public opinion are often connected in today's world. One thing I have noticed is that whenever a major crime makes the news, people are quickly to jump to conclusion before all the facts are available. Social media fills with speculation, accusation, and argument. Instead of waiting for investigate to do their work, many people decide who is responsible based on assumptions. Over the years, we have all heard a certain phrase repeating again and again. This narrative becomes so common that some people accept them without asking whether they are supported by the evidence or whether they are being applied fairly across every situation. Think about 7 years from now back. That will be 2020, after the death of George Floyd. Millions of people gathered to protest because they believe important issue needed to be addressed. Yet, instead of focusing only on why people were protesting, many conversations shift toward portraying entire community in a negative light. The debate becomes less more justice and more about stereotypes. That should make all of us stop and think. When we discuss a crime, we should remember that criminals represent themselves, not an entire race, religion, or community. Every society has people who obey the law and people who break it. Judging millions of innocent people because of the action of a few only creates more division. History also matters around the world. Many communities have experienced slavery, colonization, discrimination, and justice. Those events continue to influence society today. Understanding history does not accuse crime, but it helps explain why conversations about race are often emotional and deeply personal. Recently, another incident sparked debate online. Before all the facts were confirmed, many people were already blaming a certain group. Later, as more information became available, the reality did not match many of the early assumptions. They raised an important question. Why are people sometimes so quickly to assign blame before knowing the truth? The answer may be that stereotypes are powerful. Once an idea becomes popular, it can influence how people interpret every new event. Instead of asking what actually happened, the first question becomes, does this fit the story I already believe? That's not a healthy way to understand the world. I also saw another video showing a armed individual chanting aggressive slogan. Video like that spread quickly across social media and naturally create a strong emotional reaction.
White man fight back! White man fight back! White man fight.
And in my head, I was like, wait a minute,
But
you
a
guys
short
want to
video
fight? Who do you want to fight?
highlighted
Because
the
the event that
conflict
happened in Utah,
before drawing a
there was no black
conclusion.
person in present.
It's
Like,
always
it's not
worth
even a black person
asking
that
what
actually committed
happened
the crime.
before
So,
the
who
recording
are you guys
started.
going to fight?
What the
Yourselves?
full
Like, I mean,
video was
who are you
and
going to
whether the
fight?
video
Just like
truly
the
represents
governor
a
of,
larger group of
the governor in Utah was
Social
like,
media
they
reward
hoped
outrage.
it
The
wasn't one
more
of them.
shooting
Like,
posts
what
is
do you
the
mean?
first
You guys are
incident,
always committing crimes
unfortunately,
even
fact
more
of
than
film
any other group of
travels
people. Why would you, in
much
your
more
right mind,
slowly.
not think it's actually
The
one of us?
recent
Why would you
event
want
in
to assume
Utah are
and even,
another reminder of
reach a
why
verge of
patient matters.
praying that
Before
it's not one of you?
investigation were
How
complete,
how
many
does
people
that
had
make
already
logical sense,
formed
guys?
opinion about
It's
who was
insane. Anyway, listen
responsible.
to what people
As
are
more
saying
facts
about
came out,
this.
some of
Come
those
back, let me know
early
your thoughts on it.
assumptions proved to be wrong.
Charlie Kirk got murdered by one of his own. Let me say it again so it can sink in. Charlie Kirk was assassinated by one of his own. Let me break it down. Not black, not brown, not Muslim, not Arab, not Palestinian, not Latino, not immigrant, not LGBTQIA, not Democrat. So who is he? Meet Tyler Robinson. I mean, names don't come more American and more white than that. A white, American, cisgendered male, Christian from a pro-Trump loving Republican family. I mean, MAGA must be in chaos because how are they going to spin this? This is not a lefty that did this, but a righty. Let me just reiterate for those at the back. Tyler Robinson killing Charlie Kirk was absolutely and totally wrong. Evil. How dare you kill him and take his life because you don't like him and hate his views? What the hell? So for those of you who are incapable of understanding that multiple truths coexist, I am not you. Because you see, I can condemn the manner in which Charlie Kirk was killed and still find that Charlie Kirk was a repugnantly racist, white supremacist, white nationalist, anti-Muslim, Islamophobic, homo, transphobic, Zionist bigot. Oh, you don't like what I just said? You find it offensive? You see that cue? Go join it. I say this with my full chest. I am glad that the killer of Charlie Kirk is not black, brown, Muslim, Arab, Palestinian, trans, immigrant, Latino, or any of the demographics that Charlie Kirk spent his entire existence targeting for his self-serving political interests. Because you know that if there had been any of these demographics, the entire apparatus of hate, power, and influence from the right would have been tsunamied against all of these demographics, regardless of innocence or guilt. So now I'm going to sit back and watch the right-wingers and far-right eat their feces and faces after spending the last few days threatening and declaring war on the left and everybody else. Because you know what? It seems to me, Mr. Musk, that it is not the left that is a party of murder, but the right. And since you right-wingers won't leave yourselves in peace, by all means, go fight and die by yourselves. Yet is a war, all right, on the right. Oh yes, Mr. Fox News, all you right-wingers are accountable since it's a righty that killed Charlie Kirk. Okay, squabble up. Go fight yourself since the talking is over. The caucasity of comparing Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King Jr.? You people must be mad. Get out of here. Watch out for the headlines as they humanize Tyler Robinson as this 22-year-old university student born and raised in Utah in a very white American conservative Christian Republican MAGA-loving family. And poof, no more outrage. But they will still find ways to blame us for a white man's deed.
White men fight back, white men fight back. Here's what I don't understand. Looking at this rally where they're honoring Charles Kirk. White men fight back! I'm trying to understand that. White men fight back against what? Black people didn't have anything to do with this. White men fight back. First of all, what happened to him was horrible, but what does white men fight back mean? I think it was a white man that did this whole thing. So what are you saying white men fight back? Time to blame black people for what? This shit happened in Utah. There were no black people around. I've been to Utah. Not a lot of black people there, so I don't know where they're getting this chant from. White men fight back. What are you fighting back against yourself? All of a sudden, black people are being blamed for what? Now HBCUs have to close their campuses because of threats. Of what? Threats of what? Why are you fucking with black people? What did black people have anything to do with this Utah shit? All of a sudden you conjure up black people. It's always black people are in danger. HBCU campuses are closing because they didn't do a motherfucking thing. That makes no sense to me. We're in danger now because we didn't do nothing. We're always in danger. It's always black people. Black people this, black people that. We're minding our business. And there are actually black people that are mourning Charles Kirk. They're like, this is horrible, this is sad. They feel bad for his family, that he has 2 kids and a wife, and they had to see that. But all of a sudden it's white men fight back.
It's time this country does something about this white-on-white crime wave that's gripping America, and I'll give you 3 things about it. Thing number 1, the receipts are in the numbers. The moment the Charlie Kirk news broke, anyone who knows America's history of violence had the same thought. According to the FBI and the Justice Department, 81% of violent crimes committed against white people are committed by white people. And according to the Rockefeller School of Government, 55% of mass shooters are white. That is a criminal profile we are not paying close enough attention to. Thing number 2, the media lies to you for profit. Corporate outlets like CNN and Fox News rake in billions, fueling imaginary fears. The dark hooded immigrant, the gun-toting black gang member. This keeps white America terrified so that they can sell you gold coins, laundry detergent, and survival kits. But here's the truth. The Cato Institute found that undocumented immigrants are 26 times less likely than native-born Americans to be convicted of violent crimes like homicide. The fear they sell you isn't just unfounded, it's a con designed to keep you scared and spending. Thing number 3, white folk, the call is coming from inside the house. The overwhelming majority points to one conclusion, that white people are most at risk from other white people. The shooters in school, the domestic terrorists, the suburban mass killer. They don't look like the caricatures the media is peddling. They look like your classmates, your coworkers, your neighbors. Until America is ready to confront that reality, we'll keep watching tragedies mount while we're blaming the wrong people. This isn't about immigration. This isn't about the inner cities. There is no trans agenda. The real crime wave in America is white on white crime, and ignoring it has deadly consequences.
Can we stop for once, at least, maybe in our nation's history, stop trying to blame white on white crime on black people? Can we stop it for once, at least, please? Like, we all knew when Charlie Kirk was killed. We knew who this was going to be. We knew who the suspect was going to be, a young white man. We knew it. And yet, some people tried to spin this to say it was something else. And now threats are being lobbied against black students at universities. Black HBCUs are being threatened to be blown up. I think 4 of them had to shut down yesterday and today because they had to deal with bomb threats. It was never them. It's never been the black community. We always blame anybody else but ourselves. But the call is coming from inside the house. We are the problem. White on white crime, we are the problem. We have always been the problem. So let's for once stop trying to blame somebody else and look inward and try to address the actual problems that we are the ones creating upon ourselves. Anyway, thank you so much. Have a great day in history.
I ain't gonna lie, we gotta start doing something about these people. Y'all heard about the white boy that took the lives of 3 black people a couple days ago and there's no media coverage on it? Look at this, y'all. Like, man, this happened in Cincinnati, Ohio, bro. Apparently it was no motive at all. Like, just, these people are sick, man. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna make an excuse calling this a mental illness for this dude, too. I can't even say it's fatigue anymore, bro. It's just like a sickness, man. I don't know.
White privilege is being able to shoot and kill someone. and the articles talk about how Robinson got a 34 on his ACT. He was musically gifted, smart, loved meme culture. He was so respectful according to his neighbors. He used to run around with the neighborhood kids up and down the street as if all kids do that. They talk about how he was on a scholarship to college. I'm trying to read this article to learn more about his motive, his background, right? Why is this article like, regardless of what you believe and who you support, he's still a criminal. And if this were any other race, any other background, you would never see this type of service. You would never see this type of portrayal. And it's so frustrating because I thought it was a joke. I was like, oh, there's no way they're going to paint this kid as some type of angel. Oh my God, all the articles I'm reading, it's just like paragraphs and paragraphs of he was a smart and musically talented, respectful kid. He would never do this. Like, what? Like, please be for real. Why do we just tell me that he hated fascists and wanted to silence Charlie Kirk? Like, you really don't need to paint this whole picture that he was some perfect kid, because clearly.
Oh my God, I just knew they were gonna throw in someone gay, someone trans, something other than a white straight man. Y'all just can't just let a white straight man just take accountability for anything they do. Yeah, let's just throw in the little possible transgender partner in there. Let's just sprinkle it in. You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. You guys just want to put trans people in it somehow so you guys can give white T MAGA supporters a reason to go out and unalive them. That is why you did that. Because there was no reason to put that in there. It wasn't no trans person that unalived Charlie Kirk. It was a white straight man. Don't try to spin and change the narrative, bro. Instead of reporting on that, why don't you report on the fact that the grandmother of Tyler Robinson's family said, don't you dare sit here and refer to them as being any type of leftist or liberal. They are a Trump supporting family. Those were her words. Her words. That is what you should be focused on. Instead, you want to focus on somebody possibly dating someone who is possibly trans. This was weird, bro.
You know what's scary right now? This high amount of white on white crime. Like, ghetto, get me out of here. Like Nene Leakes said, get me out of here. Not the white refrigerator, honey. Not the white refrigerator. And you know who I blame? I blame absent fathers. Absent fathers, I blame it on them. Another reason, I blame it on the presence of guns at a young age and the lack of father supervision, Yes. It's like, what are they going to do with their emotion? They can't control them because obviously they're hiding a lot of things. Another reason is the lack of seasoning in food. Yes. Like Reese Witherspoon said, people who work out, they just don't shoot their husbands, They don't. And I feel like seasoning in food makes you happy. It makes you very demure, very mindful. And mindful people don't go out there and, start shooting other people for no reason, right? So, yeah, what do you guys think is the reason for this high amount of white on white crime? Like, what is happening, Ghetto.
That's why waiting for verified information is so important. If we truly want a safer community, then the conversation should focus on solution. We should support fair law enforcement, equal justice, and under the law. Strong community, better education, and opportunity that reduce crime for everyone. Those goals benefit every family regardless of the race or the background. The truth is that crime affects everyone. Victims come from every community. Families everywhere experience loss, fear, and heartbreak. When violence occurs, instead of allowing tragedies to divide us, perhaps they should encourage us to work toward solutions that protect everyone. At the end of the day, every one of us has a responsibility to think a critical. Don't believe everything you see online. Don't let the headline make discussion for you. Ask questions, look for evidence, and be willing to change your opinion when the new fact emerges. Real progress begins when we judge people by their individual action rather than by assumption about the group they belong to. Now, I would like to hear from you. What do you think about the way crime is discussed in today's media? Do you believe in public conversation are fair? or do you think they sometimes rely too heavily on stereotypes? I'll have to. As more information comes to light after a major incident, it is interesting to see how quickly public conversation can change. In the past, many people relied almost entirely on traditional news outlets to shape their understanding of events. Today, social media allow people to compare different sources, watch footage direct, and question narratives that may not tell the full stories. But that does not mean everything online is accurate. But it does not mean people have more opportunity to examine events from different perspectives instead of accepting a single version of story. One thing that's important is consistency. If you are going to discuss crime, justice, or public safety, those conversations should be based on fact, not on assumption about someone's race, background, or identity. The same standard should apply to everyone. Another issue that often comes up is how quickly public attention shifts away from broader policy questions. For example, after a tragedy, debate can become focused on side issues, while larger questions such as public safety, violence preparation, mental health resources, or firearm policy receive less attention. Whether people agree or disagree on those topics, they are conversations that deserve careful consideration. In the end, every tragedy should remind us to seek fact before reaching conclusion. We should hold individuals accountable for their own action while avoiding stereotypes that unfairly judge entire communities. Those are my thoughts, but I'll really like to hear yours. Do you think today's media landscape gives people a more complete picture of major event, or does it create even more confusion? Let me know respectfully in the comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a future upload. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.